have to prioritize, or you have to have some sort of, I need to work hard, or I need to get an education, even if you don't necessarily believe in it. Whatever, you know what I mean? You have to somewhat still work hard. That still is the key to success at the end of the day. Like, it isn't easy, believe it or not, to, as simple as get ready with me looks. It's not easy to go, okay, put the tripod here. Okay,
no,
and
that's
then,
work.
you know what I mean?
That's
And
work.
clip it all up. Like, so it's work to everything.
I disagree to an extent. Yeah, it's work, but a lot of them people that's really got money, they mental powerhouses. They orchestrating their mind to work less. They're not necessarily doing more. If I'm working my mind, if I got an idea and can figure it out, and I can kill some time, all right, let me pay this dude to do this, and let me pay them to do that, or whatever the case is. That can kill off half the day or whatever I need to do. And if I'm working my mind on new ideas and more creativity versus just slaving all day and getting a check at the end of the day and you're done. I remember they had like a, I think it was Henry Ford, don't give me the line, but they tried to bleed him like on the stand about something like why he don't acquire certain information. He like, what do I need to do all this work for when I can just call somebody that knows this? If I don't know how to fix a engine, I know somebody that know how to tweak it. If I don't know how to do this, I can have somebody do that. So he's still taking grasp of most of the work, but he's not doing most of the work.
So where I agree with you is that you can, use other people or pay other people to do things and shorten your workload. But again, the example you're using is somebody like Henry Ford, who had to work hard to get to where he is. We have people who have done nothing at all who want to adapt that same mindset. And so that's the problem that I have with Gen Z is that, like, you want to be a boss, but you're not willing to put in the 12 to 16 hours for however many years to get to that moment, to then where you can say, hey, you do this and you do that. You just want to wake up one day and just be there off the jump.
Being a boss is overrated. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I see you got boss on your hands.
Don't cover
it up.
It's old, but I think being a boss is overrated, to be honest with you. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. Like, sometimes being a number two is just easier. If you find someone who's really good at being a number one, not everyone could be a number one. You know what I mean? So if you find a person who's really good at being a number one and you're really good at being a number two, it's just let them handle it. You know what I mean? And as long as you're doing your job, they're taking care of you, and you know what I mean? And you're still getting the benefits of what they have, like, worked hard for. Everyone has their role. Like, not everyone should be a boss. Like, there's roles in life that you could take that you could be good at, and you could still make money, and you could still live a happy life.
Let me say one more thing, even giving us as an example. Do you consider us working hard right now?
Hell yeah, this shit more. This shit is more work than a 9 to 5, because a 9 to 5, when you clock out, you done. I don't know about other content creators, but my shit around the clock, bro. Like before I discovered AI, nigga, all the clips you see, that's me cutting them literally. Like, nigga, I'm at the dinner table cutting clips while I'm working. I'm cutting clips, editing clips, editing captions. Like, I'm like, God damn, people think you just set up a camera, talk, leave, and that's it. No. Like, no, unless you got a team behind you that you paying, like you say, on some Henry Ford shit. Okay, he do editing, boom, let me pay him. He do camera, he do this, bam, let me pay them. No, it's one man band. Like, this shit is work.
All I'm saying is, on an equivalent scale, if you was making the same amount of money, X a construction worker, X of what we doing, who's going to consider one working harder than the other? You're gonna look at this construction worker picking up pallets, doing all type of shit that he's working harder. You're not gonna look at this. So all the people gonna look at it and say, oh, y'all up there talking. What the fuck is you doing really? And whatever the case is, you're not even breaking a sweat. Right. So to say that you're working harder, but no, we're working harder in a sense because you know what you're doing behind the scenes. But once you get to a point where you make it, you're gonna be just getting behind the camera. Okay, yeah, shut that down. Yeah, edit this, do that.
I don't think this is hard work. I think it's just, if it pays off, it's just smart work. You know what I mean? I don't know if it, like, gardening is hard and landscaping is hard and, like, breaking a sweat.
From a physical aspect it is, but I wouldn't say necessarily from a mental standpoint.
Not to cut you off.
So I just, to continue real quick, like, again, if you are a construction worker or a landscaper or a gardener, not to shit on them at all, because it is hard work physical-wise, but you don't have to continuously come up with new content, break the content down, and have a vision for weeks down the road, months down the road, have an image to upkeep. Like, and again, so it's two different things. Like, I think that they're
But
both hard. One's physical.
But you still proving my point, like I
One's
said,
not.
because majority of them are mental powerhouses. So you have to be a mental powerhouse to be able to come up with content and do certain things. I'm not necessarily saying it ain't hard work, but physically you're not coming home exhausted, whoop, like I don't even want to do nothing else. Like to that point. Mentally, you might be drained, but you can go fucking meditate for 15 minutes and recharge your brain. So it's a lot of different, like you said, different concepts of that.
That's the only part I'm gonna disagree with. Because I agree with you, Danny, 100% on what you're saying. But I think the mental exhaustion is way worse than the physical. This is coming from somebody who done construction. This is coming from somebody who was in the oil field, working, breaking his back, like physical work. Half the day is ass time. So you see construction workers, yeah, when you see them busting ass, they busting ass. But don't think the whole entire day is busting ass. When it's time to get it, okay, cool, we finna knock this out. 2 hours, boom. We finna build this oil well. Okay, cool, 3 hours, boom. Then the next 3 hours, you might be on your ass.
So you're saying it's because you have instructions, you don't have to think too much.
Like
you
he
don't
said,
have to plan it out. You just have to do what you're told and you go home and get paid.
I
and
was
that's
in-
it.
No, I mean like
Okay.
you got a blueprint, right? Like, okay, we finna build this house.
That's what
the
I'm
blueprint
saying.
is made already. Like you just know I gotta do this, but when I leave, it's done. I'm not thinking about building a house no more. With the content, you're thinking about new ideas.
Shit
And it
never
depends-
turns off, yeah.
It depends on what type of content you're making. If you're making like ratchet content where I'm gonna get some drunk hoes to come in and we ain't really gotta think, we just finna talk about fucking all day, that's easy as hell. But when you try to like lead a nation, you trying to inspire the minds, you trying to, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to uphold a certain image. That shit takes work because you got to come here week in, week out, day in, day out, not have the same topics, not talk about the same shit, and still make it interesting. And
How many times a week do you shoot?
me right now, it depends, right? Because I got other shit going on in life.
When I speak,
Maybe one or
I
two.
mean excluding everything else from your world. If you have to strictly focus on doing content and somebody else working,
What do you mean
I
it's
did
harder?
I did the firefighter thing in fire camp, and that's so insane crip. I'm talking about cutting 14 hours straight with a 60-pound pack on your back and doing nothing but cutting through big ass trees and nonstop. I'm talking about physical and mental exhaustion, carrying shit, coming back to help people, beating fucking trees down with fucking axes and shit. You beating up stumps and shit. You whooped out. Physically and mentally on top of that. You got to be mentally strong. So that's the only reason I say the difference of hard work. I'm not disqualifying this as being hard work. I'm just saying physically you will be mentally and physically exhausted doing certain criterias of work, in my opinion.
Okay, well, what's the overall point we all getting at? Like, because with me, it ain't so much hard work, it's smarter work. Because you got somebody in the warehouse working hard as fuck. Working harder than the boss is working, but the boss works smarter. The boss, he blueprinted this company. You know what I'm saying? To allow him to get the job, which is why he making the big money. No, he may not be working as physically harder than the guy packing the shelves, but he works smarter.
The point-
so he should get the pay, in my opinion.
Nah, I agree, but what I'm saying is the point was that he gave an example of y'all's talking about these Gen Zs catching flack for thinking that they don't want to work hard. But instead, in their mind, they're coming up with ways to create things mentally without having to do the hard work that we're giving examples of, without having to be slaving every day in a 9 to 5. They're creating content or they're doing whatever we're doing, no matter how stupid we are. In their minds, they're like, I'm doing better than what the fuck you did for 40 years. So regardless of whatever flack, like you said, how dumb we think they is, they might actually be smarter in a sense because they're working smarter and not harder.
My only pushback on that is that, you know, we have a shortage of plumbers. We have a shortage of carpenters. We have a shortage of construction workers. We have a shortage of police officers. We have a shortage of firefighters. We have a shortage of people enlisting into the military. So all of these physical jobs that we're speaking on, we have a shortage of due to the fact of people wanting to be content creators. Meanwhile, if you go to like most of these Gen Z's content pages, they're not even putting in the work that we're putting in. They're not posting 6 times a day. They're not recording twice a week. So this is what I'm saying about Gen Zers is they look up to the people who do the get ready with me's and they say, oh, I want to go do that. But then when they realize that it does take a lot of work, and yeah, it might not be shoveling or whatever the case is, but when you have to have a camera follow you around the whole day and then cut every little thing and think about it, well, damn, I don't want to do that either. So this is why I give Gen Z the flack, because it's like you want to be a boss, but you don't even really understand the essence of hard work yet. And then you shit on the people who do have the jobs that work hard, but they understand hard work. So I think Gen Z has to understand how to work hard for it to translate over to creating content, because how many content creators is getting paid? So it's like, it's still not necessarily, you're obviously not working hard enough, or, you know, and in the content game, it becomes like somewhat of luck too. But are you really laying everything out there at the end of every day to say, I worked as hard as I possibly could, or are you bullshitting it? Because I know we come in here every day and we do what we got to do, but I could tell you right now, how many niggas you know that rap that every 6 months might put something out, or how many niggas you know that say I got a podcast but I'm a boss, but every month or two they put something out, the quality is shitty, they barely dropping clips. So it's like, at that point you might as well get a job, because you're not really doing what you're supposed to do to ensure that you succeed.
I mean, even if
That's
you're
the problem with Gen
dropping
Z
clips and you still need income. Like, just
Right.
even if you have views, like I've been just shooting my podcast for 6 months. I have over 100 million views and I haven't made $1. So
yeah, no, I completely understand.
I'm
That's
not
going viral.
I'm not trying to make it a point about who's really right or who's wrong. I'm not trying to make it a point, because distinctively we can say anything, because you can say you working hard, but it could be somebody working harder than you saying you ain't working hard enough.
True.
So at the end of the day, it's perspective. And if you ask yourself, could you be doing more? You know what I'm saying? You saying 6, but could you be doing 10? Could you be doing 12? If you really was pushing to that extent. So I think the difference of what we qualify from hard work is just perspective at the end of the day. I think in this day and age, things is just different. People don't want to slave 40 years and be waiting for a pension and whatever the fuck when they 65 years old and
that's out.
thinking they retire. You know what I mean? That
and
shit is
also it's a
trash.
different work ethic. You know what I mean?